What up, y'all? I'm on TikTok Live, so I know that people ain't on here yet, but I had to tell you all about this dream that I had the other night about Donald Trump. And it was weird because this was like a sexual dream. But let me break down the meaning of those types of dreams. When you dream about things like that with people that you don't know or never met, that means there's an emotional connection or the need or desire of togetherness and closeness, right? So in the dream, Donald Trump we had an encounter. And I don't feel like it had nothing to do with me personally. I feel like, honestly, in a dream, he was wearing like an orange suit jacket. And I feel like what that dream was about was his feelings towards the melanated woman. I feel like Donald Trump wants to unify with melanated women, with our people, period, because I feel like Trump wants to change the dynamics of history. I said this on another video, but I'm here now to talk about a dream that I had about him about 2 days ago. And normally if I say I'm going to do a video, I normally take too long to do it, so I'm doing a video 2 days later. And I told my friend about the dream, and I told my kids about it. But the fact that it was intimacy involved in this dream tells me that not only does Donald Trump want to unify with our people, but he wants to also bring us in to have a voice in our governance. I had another vision as well. Now, the first vision I had was about the White House being turned upside down. I had this vision like 2 months ago. And when I had this recent vision about the White House being turned upside down, I saw a dragon falling out of it. I feel like, when you sometimes you turn stuff upside down. You turn it upside down because you emptying something out. You draining something out. So it made me think about that Bible scripture in Revelations 7:12 through 9, or either 12:7 through 9, one of the two, where it says, down the great dragon was hurled onto the earth, and woe to the earth, because Satan and his demons has come to you to cause destruction or chaos or whatever it's saying in Revelations. Y'all, people who read the Bible know what I'm talking about. I'm not a religious person, but this is just what I thought about when I saw the vision. So that monster called racism, that monster called white supremacy, that monster, I feel like Donald Trump is eradicating the concept of whiteness. I really feel like this is what he's doing. And that great dragon that I saw coming out of the White House, I feel like it's definitely that monster that has created this entire system on the backs of people who look like me. The lies that has been told, the vision that has been deliberately put upon people who look like me on this land, not just this land, but I feel like it's going to be a global freedom, a massive freedom. I feel like it's going to be a massive cleansing. It's just starting here with the U.S. government. And I feel like that Donald Trump is definitely somebody that a lot of people, may have said that he was racist or whatever. And Donald Trump can be a butt. He's been a butt in the past. I don't get into politics, but I've been having these dreams and visions, so I've been talking about it lately to people, and I just started back doing my videos about it. But I feel like at this point in time, during the age of Aquarius, y'all got to think about this. All of this stuff means something. People want to try to outcast astrology as regards to how it plays a role in our everyday wake of life, and I'm sorry, you can't separate it. You can't separate. We're not separate from the universe. We're not separate from the planets. We're not separate from anything in existence. Us as humans in a human form, we're not separate from that. The only difference is we're in a different experience in a human form, but we're not separate from the universe, y'all. We're not separate from any of these things. So people who try to discredit astrology, and even if you're religious, your religion is based on astrology. And a lot of people don't want to accept that either. But if you go down and you thoroughly study the etymology of the things that you talk about, the words that are used in your belief system, the things that you've been taught, and you go back and you study the origin of a lot of that stuff, all of it goes back to astrology. All of it. Your God, your God's name, all of that. It all goes back to astrology. The times that we're living in, for instance, when it talks about the world coming to an end in the Bible, when it says the world will end in Luke, Matthew, the Gospels, it talks about the end of the world. When you go to different versions, it also uses the term the end of ages or the end of the eons, which means it's not the world itself coming to an end. It's the age that we're living in coming to an end. Whatever that system has been is coming to an end. Even in the Bible where it talks about when Jesus was preaching to the disciples, and one of the disciples said, Jesus said, when you see these things taking place, know that my return is near. Right? So remember, all the disciples kept trying. Jesus was giving signs and saying, this is when you know my return will be present. So people, we've been waiting 2,000 years on Jesus to return. So let me explain this. When it talks about this in the book of Mark, right? Look, the book of Luke. When will your return be? And it said, and Jesus said, when you see a man carrying a cup or a basin of water, and he walks into a house and goes into the upper room, know that my return is near. I want to say that scripture's in Mark. That man carrying that cup, that water is Aquarius. When you go look at the symbol of the Aquarius, you see the man carrying the cup. So because Jesus, people think he's a literal person, and Jesus was always a prototype. Jesus is always something that we were supposed to become, not somebody that we're supposed to worship. And that's the thing that religion has done to us with indoctrination. It told us that Jesus was a physical man and came to earth. All of that stuff is symbology. All of it is esoteric. None of it is literal. Okay, this is why religion makes people delusional, because it makes us think of all this stuff as something tangible when it's not. Jesus only represents higher consciousness. Notice when you hear Christ consciousness, the number 7, all of that talks about the higher consciousness, right? Even in Masonry, when you talk about numbers and all of that type of stuff, all of this stuff is, all of these numbers in the Bible, all of it means something. The 7 days, the 3 days, all of it means something. The number 12, all of it means something, right? So I didn't want this video to be long and stretched out, but I came here to talk about the dream that I had about Donald Trump the other night, about the sexual encounter that I had with him had nothing to do with sex itself. It was prophetic and symbol. It was a symbol of him connecting to melanated women or women of the culture and bringing them in to connect with them on a higher level, because people, whether y'all want to believe it or not, we're being led back into a time of self-governance. We're being led back to a time of self-governance, and it's going to be a time where Christianity is going to become offensive to the masses. The Muslims, somehow the Nation of Islam, somehow the Moors, the original descendants of the Moors, and the Masons, the original descendants of the Masons, the original descendants of Islam, are going to come back together, and we're going to be in a self-governing space. We're going to be in a but the only way to get to that space is this system has to be torn down, and we're in the midst of Armageddon right now. Y'all thought Armageddon was going to be Kenny Rogers coming out of heaven on a horse with a scepter. But that scepter is being used right now. That's why I keep getting that vision of the White House being turned upside down. We're in the midst of seeing Armageddon happen right now, the destruction of this system. Spiritual warfare is happening right now. And it's starting with Trump getting rid of whiteness. In a minute, there's going to be no such thing as white and black people. Because white was never about culture. It was always a status. Black was never about culture. It was always a status. You see, always a status. There's no country, no continent called white. There's no country, no continent called black. Okay. It's always been about higher and lower ranking statuses. Political, always been about politics. So I'm going to do another video because I didn't plan on really talking about all of this. I wanted to have those scriptures ready that I wanted y'all to see why the Bible is astrological. the wording that it uses, even when it comes down to the constellation of Ursa Major. The constellation of Ursa Major is about the great bear. It is a depiction of a great bear, the bear's paw, right? The name of that particular constellation is called Talitha, right? So if you look in the Bible, I want to say that's in Mark as well. That particular scripture is in Mark about Talitha. When Jesus resurrected the little girl and told her, I say to you, Talitha, wake up. He took her by the hand. That's all astrological. Talitha. I'm going to come back and do a video part 2, but I'm going to bring my receipts with it. All of the stuff in the Bible is giving you astrological prophecies about what times that we're living in. They always know within 2,000 years their time of rulership was going to be over. Always known it. So anyway, y'all, I just wanted to talk about that prophetic dream that I had about Trump. It was definitely prophetic. So I guess I'll see y'all on the next one. And then another dream that I had about a week or 2 ago, that a Mexican was robbing me of my ID. He took my wallet. And I was like, whenever you dream about somebody taking your wallet in a dream, that's identification theft or whatever. And I know what's been going on with the deportations and things of that nature. And I'm like, I'm not around any Mexicans for them to take anything from me. So I felt like, this may have had something to do with their family or them, like using each other's identity and stuff like that. Now, I talked about this dream that I had on Facebook Live about 2 weeks ago about the Mexican. So I feel like all of these dreams that I've been having since 2021 about Farrakhan, about the Nation of Islam, all the ancestors that's been coming to me, saying things to me, and I didn't understand what they were talking about, why they were saying it. I done been to the mosque trying to figure this out. You know what I'm saying? I dreamt about a Moor last month. I dreamt that there was a Moor in my dream, and he came to me or whatever, and I saw him walking out of this temple. He was holding a Quran, and he walked up to me, and he said, this is supposed to lead you back to science. He was talking about the Quran, right? He said the Bible is supposed to lead people back to themselves, but it's leading people to destruction instead. So let me tell you something, y'all. I've gotten very close with some of the Fruits of Islam, with some of my Nation of Islam people, right? So I was invited to an event last week to go for Black History Month. And I went, just to support my community. Why did I go in there and I saw a bunch of men sitting in the front row with fezes on? I almost fell out. I promise you, I almost fell out my seat. My stomach hit the floor. There was one of the brothers that got up to speak. When I tell y'all, I almost passed out when I saw this man's face, because this was the same man that was in my dream last month. The Moor that I saw looked like he was from the 14 or 1500s. That same man was in the mosque last week. And he's a Moor. I walked up to that man. I said, sir, please, I got to tell you something. It's just crazy, y'all, to have these types of dreams and visions come to you, and like they do, and then you see it coming to fruition. And it's just like, wow, that feeling of awe never gets old. It never gets old. But anyway, I just wanted to share this prophetic dream, too, that I had about Donald Trump 2 days ago. Literally 2 days ago. I've never dreamt about Donald Trump ever, but he was in my dream 2 days ago, having a intimate, connection with me. So I knew that this was about the culture, not me personally. Not me personally. So when y'all have dreams about things, understand that get your dreams interpreted, because you don't know what the divine is showing you through a dream. Those are called prophetic visions a lot of times. And I have them. Oh, I'm notorious for getting those messages. So I have yet to see what this is really about with Trump, but I feel like he's definitely getting rid of whiteness. He's getting rid of white supremacy. He's hurling the great dragon down and putting that great dragon into the abyss. Revelations 26. I think it's 26 or 21. 3. One of them, I can't remember, y'all. I think it's Revelations 26, where it talks about the Satan and his demons being Gog and Magog being in an abyss. The book of Ezekiel talks about that. Ezekiel 38 and 39 talks about that. I used to be Christian, y'all. I grew up that way. So this is why I'm spitting these scriptures out like this, because I studied the Bible. for over 30 years, and I went to Theocratic School Ministry, and I didn't know that the things that I was studying was esoteric, because they don't teach you that. They teach you that all of this stuff is literal when it's not. So now that I'm in a place that I'm at now, and I understand the meaning behind all of this stuff, and I've got access to the mystic information, I share it. So we have yet to see what this dream about Donald Trump is about, but I had it. So let's see, y'all. Keep me posted. All right. Y'all can also meet me at Nayeri Sanchez on Facebook, NYEREE SANCHEZ, because I post a lot there. I post more there than I do here, because they like interrupting my videos on here when I say things, and I ain't anybody got time for that. So anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy y'all Saturday, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what this dream about Trump was about. All right, y'all. Peace.